Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. Of course I'm smiling. Aquaman, 940 million global box office. It's going to hit $1 billion. It's going to be $1 billion. Get it, Wan? James Wan? Yeah, I'll leave that alone. I saw it on Twitter and I thought it was funny. But this is amazing. And in the gift that keeps on giving, it's really funny hearing the haters of reading what the haters are posting. So let me read you something. I can't read it because I haven't got it right now, but I'll try and remember it, right? So basically, all Aquaman is a fun time at the box office and no one's talking about it and no one's doing any artwork about it. That's not true anyway, but even if that was true, being merely a good time at the movies isn't good enough. And you just feel sorry for them. And of course, he's a follower of Scott Mendelsohn, who of course will be very bitter inside, burning. But of course, he has to report the facts of the box office. They're all skewing about this because it isn't just DCEU haters who are not angry. It's not just DCEU haters that are angry. It's also SJWs, social justice warriors. Because don't forget, this alpha male actor playing this alpha male character in this version defeated two big female-led films that the pundits were trying to create an illusion of big competition for Aquaman. Of course, they were never big competition. So this has really pissed the SJWs off because they know this win for Aquaman by this actor changes everything. This changes the landscape. Before they could keep on making up lies, how it's all about female-led movies, about how female-led movies make more money. Apart from Wonder Woman, name me the female-led movie. You can't, can you? So we move on. So basically, they're so butthurt right now because they know that Warner Brothers and other studios will be thinking, alpha males. Best start trying that. Because that's what studios do. Once a film they didn't expect to make a certain amount of money, makes a certain amount of money. I do suspect, though, that Warner Brothers did see this coming. They didn't start bragging about it before it happened, but I think they knew the market. They knew what they were doing by going in China. And this is something else, of course. What's been proven, something else that's really funny in all of this. How many times do we keep on seeing box office reports and bloggers reporting about the box office going, the domestic box office? Well, in your face, because nobody cares about the American box office anymore because it's all about China. All of a sudden, this is something else that other studios are going to see. This film goes to China. Not only does it hit it out the park, but China extends its stay till February, and it could go beyond that. This is hilarious because they've always, the argument, when I go into bloggers about last year, right, is it the superhero news or whatever it was, right, Dave Jones or whatever his bloody name is, right, and he blocked me on Twitter. So this is a funny story, a short story, but a funny story. So he was still getting about the Justice League box office, how terrible domestically it was. And what I basically said to him was, yeah, but it's doing slightly better internationally, globally. I'm not saying it was brilliant, but it was making up the shortfall of the domestic. Domestic wasn't great, but actually, globally, Justice League was quite healthy. And if the domestic was a little bit more healthier, in fact, hilariously, Justice League would have made $1 billion. That's what's so funny about the whole situation. So it was really, where it really failed was America, because everywhere else it was pretty much taking what it should take. So that was very interesting. And I think Warner Brothers would have seen how well it did in China, Justice League, and were thinking, well, Aquaman, we best release that there first. So what's happened now is everything's changing. All of a sudden, studios can see that, yeah, alpha male actors can lead films, and China is more important than America. Now, of course, this is a controversial situation with China's politics and the way their countries run. Now, I don't know the details of that, and I don't want to start talking about that because I've already got one strike on my YouTube channel for a video called Spider-Man Homecoming Rant. I don't even know what I bloody well said, but apparently it was so bad that the level of the rule break it was the second to first kind of face they do, the square thing. So pretty bad. So I'm sure people will keep on reporting me. Let's hope I don't lose the ability to post videos. But the good news is, if I do, I'll find another way around it. So don't worry, we'll find a way to communicate. But yeah, I mean, China's become very, very, very important at the end of the day. And I do feel more... Look, American Hollywood studios aren't going to care about China and the way they look at things. What I said yesterday, Warner Bros. Will certainly think, right, we need to fit the criteria so we get released in China. Because the Chinese government banned so many films, right? So, and I think more studios would do this. Unfortunately for Disney, they're going down this very political route in the way they want to structure their films, the messages they want to put up. We've already seen that with the animated, The Incredibles 2. That's, I nearly forgot its name. It's early, forgive me. But yeah, so Incredibles 2 had a criteria, but I think as it goes down that criteria, and I think The Incredibles was released in China, but I think as we go on, Disney will get more and more stringent about the kind of things they want to push politically and the messages they want to push, and I think that will be problematic to them. They're already behind, way behind Warner Brothers in profits in China, but China has now shown to be a very big market. I mean, China's a massive country, but it's also the knock-on effect from China, and this is what really started convincing people, well, we should go and watch Aquaman. Look at that. Because if it was released in America first, the opening would have been okay, but we saw what's hilarious. Look, let me show you, let me prove to you how irrelevant the American box office is. Because basically, Aquaman, had the lowest opening of all the DCEU movies. You see how kind of a narrative can make you think different things. It's the way they tell you things. So what happens is you think, but hang on, that's a failure, isn't it? The lowest opening. No, because that's how irrelevant the American box office is. Because Aquaman is days away from making $1 billion, but it had the lowest opening of a DCEU movie in America. And, you know, an Aquaman movie having the lowest opening compared to other DCEU movies isn't a big deal anyway, because it's Aquaman, for Christ's sake. You would expect the Batman and Superman movie to open bigger, or a Superman movie, or a Wonder Woman movie, or even a Justice League movie. So, but this is what I'm telling you. I've just given you the evidence that the American box office is so irrelevant. It's important as far as the numbers globally, counting up the numbers globally, but it's not got the importance that the bloggers and the pundits have been saying. How this guy last year blocked me because I was having this very same argument with him, and he was just saying, well, America's a big country, but as I said before, it isn't every country in the whole world, which is, of course, more important. And this is why global is more important than domestic. But it's not just that. Global has proven this time, and China has proven that actually they're the big players in all this now, and America now, because I've told you this before, the American box office is shrinking, and the global box office is becoming bigger. And this is why slowly, in the past 5 years, they've been releasing select movies abroad first. And this will become the norm now. And the more you see it, you will hear my words ringing in your ears, that their arrogance about the domestic box office being so important, and me actually proving them wrong. And what I said a year ago about Justice League to that guy who blocked me has come true. That China has blatantly become more important than domestic. And the whole thing is so funny because these bloggers base everything around domestic because of their arrogance, right? And because of the Disney thing, because Disney always do so well domestically. So it covers up their misgivings globally if you just point out domestic. But of course, if you own a business and you've got 60 shops around the world, are you just going to care how well that shop does in one country? Or are you going to add all your profits together and sit there counting your cash? It's obvious what you're going to do. You're going to care more about your collective earnings rather than what you just made in one country. You want to make sure you're making well in individual countries, but it isn't more important than what's going on globally. And this is my whole point with Aquaman. Aquaman has proven that global and China are so more important. I will do a massive video. When this hits $1 billion, I want to talk about the DCEU. I want to talk about its future, its past. We want to do a commemorative celebration video because, as I said at the top of this show, we've had to put up with a lot of stuff. And now, DCEU fans, it's time for smiling. Not just because we made $1 billion, because soon it's Shazam, and I can't wait for you to see this movie.